Have you noticed how July makes a lot of gardeners second guess themselves? The weather gets hotter, watering becomes harder, pests seem to show up everywhere, and before you know it, you're wondering, is it even worth planting anything now? And if you've been thinking that, I've got some good news. July is actually a great time to plant if you choose the right crops. To make this easier to follow, I've grouped these crops into 4 simple categories based on the biggest challenges gardeners face in July. We'll start with what I call heat champions, the crops that don't just survive the July heat, they actually thrive in it. Let's get into it. The number 1 heat champion is okra. If you've ever watched your vegetables struggle during hot weather, you're going to love this one. While many crops slow down in July, okra almost seems to enjoy the heat. Once it starts producing, you can harvest every few days, and the more you harvest, the more it keeps giving. Even 1 or 2 okra plants can produce enough pods for a small family, making them perfect for small gardens. The next one is amaranthus. We call it dodo in our language. I love growing dodo because it's quick, nutritious, and it keeps producing if you harvest it the right way. Instead of pulling out the whole plant, simply harvest the outer leaves or just cut the tip, and then it becomes like a shrub. Continue simply harvesting the outer leaves and you leave them growing. That way, one plant keeps feeding you for much longer. If you enjoy cooking with peppers, July is still a great time to plant them. Whether you prefer sweet peppers or hot peppers, they enjoy warm weather and you don't need a huge amount of space. They also grow really well in containers. These 3, okra, amaranth or dodo, and peppers, are my heat champions. If your garden gets plenty of sunshine, these crops will be right at home. If you're working with a small space like me, you're going to love the next 3, which I call small space superstars. One question though, have you ever looked at your garden and thought, I've run out of space? I know I have. But sometimes the answer isn't finding more space, it's using the space you already have differently. So let's start with cucumbers. One of the best things you can do is grow them vertically. A simple trellis, some string, or even a fence can completely change how much space they use. Instead of spreading across the ground, they grow upwards, leaving you with more room for other crops. That's exactly what small space, big harvest is all about. Then there are chives. A lot of people don't realize chives are actually a herb, but they are also one of the easiest edible plants you can grow. You can plant them close together, snip off the leaves you need, and they will grow right back from the base. If you're gardening, let's say in containers or a small bed, they're definitely worth making space for. Up next are carrots. These ones surprise a lot of people. Most of us think they need a huge garden, but they really don't. I also used to think that, but all they need is loose and deep soil. I'm actually growing mine in a 1-foot strip beside my fence, and they're doing really well. And so far, if you found even one idea that's going to help your garden this July, consider subscribing, because every week I share simple, practical gardening tips to help you grow more food, no matter the weather or the space you have. And if you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. Now let's move to the crops that keep rewarding you for months after planting them. I call these harvest for month. Here's something that most people get wrong. Every time we harvest leafy vegetables, we pull out the whole plant. I've seen very many people pulling out the whole plant of vegetables. It took me a while to realize that some vegetables will keep feeding you for months if you harvest them the right way. The next 3 are a perfect example. Swiss chard is one of those vegetables that just keeps giving. Instead of harvesting the whole plant, pick the outer leaves and leave the middle growing. One planting can feed you for a month. And the next is kale. Kale works pretty much the same way. You harvest the lower leaves first and leave the growing tip alone. If you do that consistently, you will enjoy harvest after harvest without replanting kale again. Next up, beetroot. Most people grow beetroot for the roots, but the secret is in leaves also. don't overlook the leaves. They are nutritious, delicious, and can be harvested before the roots are even ready. It's almost like getting 2 harvests from one plant. Those 3 are perfect if you'd rather keep harvesting than keep planting. Now let us get to what I called the Encore Ray Pick. If I could recommend only one crop to plant in July, it would be pumpkin. Not just because of the pumpkin themselves. Pumpkins give you so much value. The leaves are edible, the flowers are edible, the fruit delicious definitely. The seeds can be saved and planted again. And if you train the pumpkin to climb the fence or trellis, it takes up very little ground space while producing an incredible harvest. For me, pumpkin represents exactly what happens when you make the most of the space you already have. So if you're planting this July, don't feel like you have to grow all these 10 crops that I've mentioned. Pick 1 or 3 that fit your space and give them a try, because the best garden isn't the one with the most expensive pots. It's the one that was started. The harvest doesn't begin when you buy the perfect pot. It begins the day you plant the first seed. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. You'll also love the one on your screen now, where I share more practical ways to grow more food in small spaces. Until next time, start with what you have, improve as you grow. I'm Encore Ray, and remember, small space, big harvest. Thank you so much for watching.